A very good evening and welcome to News First Weekend. I'm Arundhati Mudannaika. Let's start off with a look at the stories making headlines this evening.
JVP objects to continuity of Port City project. Hints on the next general election. Dr. Amunugamal joins the battle to drive away the corrupt. Unawatana Beach at risk of being lost forever.
President Maithripala Sirisena says that 158 million rupees were incurred by the presidential palace in catering expenses in the run-up to the presidential election. Now addressing the gathering at an event held in Polonnaru today, the president had this to say.
This is the extent to which they misuse state property and state wealth during the election. From the 1st of November to the 8th of January, the presidential palace had spent 158 million rupees on feeding people. The accountant at the presidential secretariat brought the files to me to approve payment. I said we would decide later on whether we will pay these bills or not.
The Janata Abhinanda Uttamachara festival was held at the Nithambur public grounds today under the auspices of President Maithripala Sirisena and former President Chandrika Bandaranaike Kumaratunga.
Addressing a public rally held in Tangol, JVP leader Anrukumara Dissanayake affirmed that they would not allow for construction of the Colombo port city to continue.
Lanka For the first time in Sri Lanka, 575 acres in front of Galle Face have been given to the Chinese to reclaim and build an island. They have simply given away 575 acres. In our country, there are laws governing the reclamation of paddy land or even swamps. But there is no law for land reclamation from the sea. First, we need to introduce such a law. An environment impact report was not compiled. In order to reclaim 575 acres, there should be a bed of at least 1,000 acres. An engineer told me that they will need 120 million cubes of stone alone. They have got only 20 million cubes of stone. They are not looking into where the stone is coming from. Minister Rajitha Senaratne said that the cabinet had decided the day before yesterday to go ahead with this project. This is not why Rajapaksa was defeated. This is not why power was given to Ranil and Maitri. The reclamation of land from the sea must be stopped. The Janata Vimukti Peramuna will exert the necessary pressure to ensure that it is stopped.
The procedure to secure the support of opposition MPs for possible constitutional amendments was also criticised by the JVP leader.
An additional secretary to Maithripala Sirisena has issued a circular noting that a jeep, a pickup truck and fuel would be given to the defeated ministers. So is it people who cannot pump their own fuel for 100 days that are going to be entrusted with governing the country? We are MPs too. Did they give us jeeps, fuel and drivers? We would refuse it even if it is given. This is a waste of public wealth. This is being given so that they can raise their hands for a two-thirds majority. If not, they would not raise their hands. A two-thirds majority is needed in Parliament for constitutional amendments. Work is being done through bribes. Such is the nature of this Parliament.
UNP's Assistant Leader, Finance Minister Ravi Kannanayake attended an event held in Soisapura, Moratuwa this evening.
The event was organised to mark the opening of the Soisapura office of the UNP and to present membership cards to new party members.
What we must do now is serve the people and not serve politics. We secured this power with much difficulty from a dictatorial rule so that we could serve the innocent people. This includes Sinhalese, Tamils, Muslims, Burghers, Malays and also Buddhists, Catholics, Islam and Hindus. This includes all the people. The general election could be held in April or even in May, but it will definitely be held before October.
Speaking at an event held in Kandy, UPFA MP Dr. Sarat Amunugamal said that corrupt public representatives should be banned from politics.
Remember that the people voted to exile corruption. People who came in bicycles and motorcycles with nothing but their clothes and bags of cement started travelling Benz cars and built three-story mansions. If there are such corrupt individuals, they must all be exiled from politics without consideration of party divisions. If they are found guilty, they must be banned from politics for life. I say if the 100 days are not enough, then take 300 days to do it. Now there are people on our side and in the UNP too who are striking deals. This cannot be allowed. They must be punished in court and through politics.
Moving on to sports news now. In an exclusive interview with Sports First, Sanajja Surya, the chairman of the National Selection Committee, said that the middle order of Sri Lanka's batting lineup will have an immense responsibility in ensuring victory for the team at the World Cup.
Sri Lanka will face South Africa in Christchurch tomorrow in their first warm-up fixture. TM Dilshan and Lahiri Thirimana will open the batting for Sri Lanka.
Dimut
Karunaratne failed and we must accept it. So we included Lahiri Thirimana and formed the batting lineup. It was successful in the past 2 or 3 matches. Thirimana's arrival ensured depth in the lineup. We also solved the problem with the opening pair. Now the middle order batsmen have an immense responsibility and I believe they will fulfill it.
Indian pace bowler Ishant Sharma has been ruled out of the World Cup after failing to recover from a knee injury.
The 26-year-old is the most experienced bowler in India's squad and will be replaced by Mohit Sharma. His withdrawal is the latest setback for India, who failed to win a game in the recent tri-series with Australia and England. India faced arch-rivals Pakistan in Adelaide on the 15th of February in their opening World Cup match. Another player who will miss the World Cup is Sri Lanka's seamer Dhammika Prasad, who suffered a fractured hand during training. Sri Lanka have not yet named a replacement in their squad.
Taking a look at another one of our headline-making stories, the Unawatuna beach, named the world's best beach in 2004, is fast disappearing today. The once flawless crescent of sand that swept along a palm-lined shore with turquoise waters is now blanketed with jagged rocks. Newsfirst Krishan Devasagayan visited this world-famous beach to give us a first-hand account of the destruction of Unawatuna.
The Unawatuna beach is a stretch of coastline that spans for nearly 1.5 kilometers in the south of Sri Lanka and has attracted both local and foreign tourists for over half a century. The coral reefs of Unawatuna helped create a waveless natural pool that made it a haven for swimming and scuba diving. But today, this once pristine beach is receding at a rapid pace. A number of foreign tourists were astounded at the current state of the Unawatuna beach.
When I was here in 1986, was my first time. It was one of the 12 nicest beaches of the world. And now, if you look, it's like a smaller version of Rocky Mountains.
The reason for the destruction of the Unawatuna beach is the breakwater that was built by the Coast Conservation Department. The breakwater, which stretches nearly a kilometer into the ocean, has disturbed the natural balance of the ecosystem and is washing away the sand from one half of the beach and depositing it on the other half. To prevent the erosion that is currently taking place, large rocks have been piled along the shore, and this has become a nuisance for tourists.
We're about 1 kilometer into the sea from the Unawatuna beach, and this is the artificial breakwater that has been created that has disturbed the natural ecosystem of the Unawatuna beach area. Experts say that this area, this location was very famous for surfing as well as snorkeling and scuba diving. But today we can see that these industries have been affected badly. And from the glass bottom of our boat, we can see that the corals, which used to be beautiful corals that used to be here, are no more today.
The plea of the locals of Unawatuna is that the breakwater be destroyed. Even though the authorities acquiesced to their plea, it is only the top layer of the breakwater that has been removed thus far. The livelihoods of the locals too have been gravely affected because a wide network of hotels, restaurants and other businesses depend on the tourists arriving at the Unawatuna beach for their survival.
The number of tourist arrivals in Unawatuna is declining by 17 to 20% each year. Let alone the tourists, even the locals who come here from Colombo, Nooreli and even Jaffna ask about what happened to the beach that they remember.
The aim of the Coast Conservation Department is to create an artificial beach while preserving the breakwater.
Post-tsunami sea erosion in this area was in a very bad state. It went on for about 4 to 5 years and so a breakwater was designed. However, there was a problem with the length of the breakwater. We are not denying that there is a problem. There is no reason to pump sand here if the rocks are removed. That is the long-term solution. The sand is being deposited here as a short-term solution.
If they are active, then what they should be doing is not dumping sand here, but removing the rocks.
Now the severity of my attempts to record a piece to camera on top of the breakwater. Surfing industries have been completely affected. Now both these industries were very popular among the local and foreign tourists. But today there seem to be no more. Now other than the local surfing and tourism industry, the two natural coral reefs that made the Unawatuna beach, and again my efforts were futile. That made the Unawatuna beach safe for swimming is not existing. The peak of the tourist season at Unawatuna is from December to February. But due to the difficulties that have arisen as a result of the beach nourishment process, tourists are being driven away. Who will decide the fate of this iconic location? Could Unawatuna enter the record books as the world's best beach once again?
And with that, we wrap up tonight's edition of News First Weekend. Thank you very much for joining us. Good night.